I get sad anytime I visit places like this. Now, slave trade is over. But I just want to tell you guys that slave trade really existed years ago. But I'm right here in Gorée Island. I'm just going to show you the last part of what? The slave trade, where it's actually existed. That is the slave house over there. I don't know a lot about this place, so as I always do, I need to find someone who knows more to educate me and you. Stay tuned and come with me. We are here on Gorée Island. We are in the slave house in Gorée Island. Can you tell us everything we need to know about this place?
Okay. Here was the last house enslaved. It was kept by the government like a witness of slave trade. But they will keep 150 enslaved inside this house. Okay. They will separate them by age and by sex between the different cells.
Okay.
But here the minimum weight was 80 for the men. It was a 60 kilo. Because of that, they was called this room the weighing room. In French, as you can see, chambre de pesage.
Okay.
And the men less than 60 kilo, they feed them with beans, palm oil, and corn to make them fat and strong. But inside this house, we have 5 cells for the men, 3 in this side and 2 at the other side.
Okay.
But as you can see, this cell was for 15 or 20%. Come look inside, please. This cell was for 15 or 20%. They will sit all around the wall. And they will free 1 time a day to go to the bathroom. Before that, or after that, the men who have a diarrhea, they want to vomit, urinate. Like all natural needed, they was obliged to do that here.
Everything to do with
everything, all natural needed, they was obliged to do that here. And this place was not cement before, it was like a sludge, the mud. And the men was just put something like hide sex to hide the private parts. And with the time, they stay naked. And they used to sell them naked. Because before sell them, they just spray them the seawater and put them the sheep butter to make them shining. And they bring to the different places to exchange them.
Wow.
And the door and the windows was closed with an iron bar like a jail.
So you can never go outside?
No. Only if the merchant want to bring them outside. They was obliged to stay here for 15 or 20%, and the slave will stay here 3 or 6 months to wait for the boat. Because they would catch the slave in the different countries like Gulf of Guinea, Cameroon, Ghana, Benin, Togo, Ivory Coast, Gulf of Guinea, Nigeria, Mozambique, Gambia. But here was the last destination in West African coast before leave Africa definitively, and it was the first destination in West African coast before go to the different countries. And the slave trade was started in this island in 1536. 36. Or the slave trade was started in the other country in Lagos by the Portuguese in 1441. It was before discovering America. Because they say America was discovered in 1492. Or the slave trade was started in 1441 and the destination was Europe before. Like Lisbon, Cadiz, London, Liverpool, Amsterdam. It was Africa and Europe before. And let me show you the next cell. But as you can see, this was for the men only.
This was for the men only?
Yeah. And it was the same for the men.
This
as you can notice here, it was for the men. As you can notice here in French, so mean home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Learning French too.
Okay, that is good. And here was a cell for the kids, as you can see here. The kids
were also enslaved?
Of course, everybody. Because when they will start to catch to hunt African people like enslaved, they can catch everybody, the children, the women pregnant, the young girls. They abandon only the old person and the person who cannot work like enslaved. And they will bring them here. This cell was full of children, as you can notice here.
Oh my goodness.
Because the slave can contain more than 20 different families, or in one family, you can have two 3 or 6 children. But here they was just keep them here. If they have enough teeth, they say they can eat alone, they bring them here. If they don't have enough teeth, they leave them with the moms for the breastfeeding. And they used to bring the children on the different fields because they can transport the luggage, they can do the small works like domestic or the mines. Because of smaller sizes, they can get inside the mines easily. And this cell was for the kids only. But as you can see, we are inside the cell for the young girls. Because during the slave trade, the merchants and the military was not allowed to come in Africa with their wife. Sometimes they choose between the young girls inside the cell like this, who was a virgin, clean, or beautiful. They rape them. But with the time, the young girl can be pregnant. She can have a daughter or son. They call them mulatto, like a mule between donkey and horse. But sometimes the young girls, the daughter or son between white merchants and the African young girl, the slave, and the daughter or the son have the same stature like the mother. If the mother was free, the daughter or son will be free. When she was a slave, the daughter or son was a slave like a mother. But to avoid to become slave like a mother, the merchant can marry the merchant, the young girls. They call this kind of marriage the style of country, because the merchant came here for the business, the military for the mission. He can stay here a few months or 5 years maximum. But if the merchant go back in Europe or America after his mission, if he don't have enough money to come back in Africa again, or he don't have another mission in Africa, he can write a letter and send in Africa and explain to his wife the reason of why he cannot come back in Africa. And the wife are allowed to have another husband. She can keep the family of first husband, she can take the family of second husband. She can have a 2, 3, 5 or 6 different husbands, and she keep the family of all husbands. We cannot call them husband family name because they have a lot. They just call this kind of woman the senhor. And senhor is the formation of Portuguese word senhora. The different houses like this, or Saint Louis of Senegal, was living by the senhor or descendants of senhor. And this house, the owner was a senhor and Pepin, but the young girls and the men more than 60 kilo was expensive. The children and the women was cheaper. If the slave have to work on the fields, they was exchange them with sugar, tobaccos, coffee, rice, cotton. If they have to work on the mines, they was exchange them with gold, silver, iron bar, gun or gunpowder. Or sometimes they was exchange 25% to 1 horse or 30% to 1 horse. You can imagine it, one animal was expensive and have more values than 30 human beings. And this cell was for the 25 young girls, as you can see here. Here, this was a cell for the men less than 60 kilos. They sell the cell for temporal unfit. They was bring them here to feed them with beans, palm oil, and corn to make them fat and strong. And they was choose between the slaves who are allowed to eat and who are not allowed to eat. The children and the women was fed just 1 time a day or 1 time in 2 days just to keep them alive. And here was for the punishment.
Oh my goodness.
As you can see here, they used to say, nobody can tell you exactly how many people can get inside the cell. They doesn't count about the number. Because it was for the punishment, you don't have to be comfortable. They can put here 5, 10 or 15 persons. They doesn't care about the number. They can stay inside the cell 1 day, 2 days or 3 days. When they're getting out, they have a difficulty to stand up.
Can I enter?
You can enter here. And as you can see, Nelson Mandela was here in 1991 for the official visit. And few minutes later, they found him with the tears because Nelson Mandela was crying inside this cell.
Nelson Mandela?
Yes, in 1991. The former South African president. And here was for the punishment too. It looked like a first one, but the 2 small windows at the both sides was just to commemorate the end of slave trade. And exactly day was April 27 when they were stopped to do the slave trade in French colonies. And there was put just 2 small windows in 1848, and there was April 27. Okay, let's be able to get it this way. And as you can see, this cell was for the women. 25 or 30 women will sit on the floor here all around the wall. They will free one time a day like everybody to go to the bathroom. But the woman can stay here. She can hear the daughter or son crying at the other side, or the young girl screaming at the other side. She doesn't know why the children or the young girl screaming. The only thing she can do or imagine it is, I'm here, I'm hungry, thirsty. When the night comes, I can't sleep. My son or my daughter are doing the same. And they used to sell them separately, like a father in Cuba, children in Haiti, mother in Brasilia. They don't know our destination. Only the stronger and like a slave can have it to the final destination. And they used to deport them by the door we call the door of no return, or the point of no return. Follow me, please. And here was a waiting cell for the slave, more than 60 kilo. It was bring them here to wait for the boat at the both side. It was a waiting cell for the slave, more than 60 kilo. As you can see here.
It is where they wait?
Yeah, they bring them here to wait for the boat. The slave have more than 60 kilo. It was a waiting cell for them. And the two last was the same thing. But they stay used to be for the guard, and the guard was African people who collaborate with slave masters.
Oh my God, man.
And they call this door the door of no return, or the point of no return, because they stay behind. They will find the bridge. When he was a sea upper, they will work on the bridge as a group to get inside the boat. When he was a sea lower, they put them inside a small boat to bring them to the ship, or sometimes by the seashore to the other side. But when the slave was getting out through here, it was goodbye forever in Africa. When they were sick also, it was the same door they used with a ball of 20 pounds on the legs, and they throw them on the ocean, they will sink directly. And because of that, they call this door the door of no return, or the point of no return. And the Pope Jean Paul II was stand here in 1992. February, and the Pope Jean Paul II was asked for given in Africa, because a lot of missionary Catholic was collaborating with slave masters. And this is a door of no return. And this wall was put here in 1999. It was just to protect the island, the house from the sea erosion. And upstairs,
they call this place the door of no return.
Yeah.
Which means that a lot of our ancestors were taken right from this place, and they never returned. So we, being the grandchildren, it's time for us to revisit Mother Africa. Trust me, I'm gonna go out here. It's a door of no return, but trust me, it's time for us to return.
This house and this place, as you can see, upstairs was for the merchant office and merchant living room. And this was the kind of gun they were used for the hunting. And after catch them, this was for the neck. And this was the hamper for the slave. And this was for two slaves, left feet and right feet, when they put them together like a sardine inside the boat, like a sardine box. And this was with a ball of 20 pounds if they want to throw them on the ocean, and the slave will sink directly. But as you can notice here, this place was for the merchant office and merchant living room.
Only him?
Only merchants. You can imagine it, the merchant was living here and the African people downstairs, inside the cell.
This is so sad.
And this was how they put them inside the boat. Let me show you the picture. And this was how they put them inside the boat, like a sardine box.
Yeah, sardine
and
box.
It was crossing the oceans during 6 to 12 weeks, as you can see here.
We're going to stay on the ocean for 6
to 12 weeks to cross the ocean.
Hey, hello. My name is Maya, and nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Where are you from?
Barcelona.
Barcelona, Spain.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. Have you been downstairs?
Yeah, we have visited pretty much everything.
And as a white woman in here, how do you feel right now?
Wow. I really don't have the words to explain how I feel. It's like frustrated mostly, but also, I don't know, I feel bad for all these people because they couldn't do anything, and wow, that's
so
pretty amazing.
Like, this is what happened years ago.
Yeah.
if, let's say, a black man, if you hear a black man saying that I hate all white people because of what happened to my ancestors, will you agree with the person?
Well, I don't think that's fair because, well, not all the white people is thinking the same way, and yeah. I mean, you are in your right to be mad, and it's completely normal, but well, not everybody is the same, and every person is a wall, and wow, what they did was really so bad.
Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you too.
Yeah.
Merci.
What is this place?
And here it was the same, place the balcony when the merchant get some time to stay here and appreciate the different boat they use, because they were used to sailboats. Yeah, and this was the place we was find the bridge when there was work on it. As you can see here, the boats are moving completely. And we see just here we call the door of no return. Yeah. And it was took this direction to Europe or America, just through here. And sometimes they say when the slave was sick or like the slave was dying, they would just bring them to this part of Highland, ocean. They throw them on the.
When they die,
yeah,
they throw them inside.
They don't wait to make the slave die. They just prefer to throw them because when the slave was sick, because of different like a plague, a pest epidemic, a yellow fever, or all kind of a sickness, they don't have medicament for them or doctor for the sickness slave, and they was afraid to be contaminated by them. The only thing they don't is just to throw them on the ocean. And, yep. They prefer to throw them on the ocean because they are able to be contaminated by the sickness slave, or one sickness slave contaminate other slaves. Yeah. And it was during 4th century, because the slave was started so 1441 to 1848. In French colonies it was 4th century and 7 years, but Cuba in America it was in 1863. But Cuba and Brasilia was the two last countries who abolished the slave trade in 1848. In 1888. But Haiti was the first black country who took its independence in 1804. Haiti was the first black country who took its independence in 1804. You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm not going to say that. Thank you so much for enjoying this amazing episode. This is an amazing episode. This is a sad episode. Like, I'm really sad this very moment. And all I can say is that if you think that slavery or slave trade never existed, this is a perfect book for you. It's time to come back to the motherland. Every black man on earth is from Africa, whether you like it or not. It's your boy Mr. Ghana, baby, and I'm out.